We'll try to see some of the scripts today. Okay. Okay, so why basically shell scripting is needed? So basically to automate the tasks, right? So the kind of, let us say you're working on a Linux machine and you have to do a lot of things every day, and you're doing that manually repeatedly. And so to save the time and to avoid the manual intervention, so what we do is we automate. We automate the tasks. So you are executing a lot of commands manually, you're configuring something, you're installing something, and there are a lot of steps that have to be done manually. So that can be automated using shell script. So it's very easy. Simply we put all the commands together in a file and we execute. So that is nothing but shell script, right? So generally shell script ends with .sh. Okay, let us say sample.sh. So this is a shell script. So this .sh indicates that it's a shell script, right? So I mean in general the convention is sample.py. It's a Python script, right? Or sample.pl, it's a Perl script, right? Or sample.rb, this is a Ruby script, right? What is sample.c? So this is a C program, right? In the same way sample.cp is a C++ program, right? Sample.java is a Java program. So this is a general syntax we follow, right? So what is the first line in a shell script and how to execute a shell script, right? So there are two kinds of programs, right? When you compile, you write a program and you compile it, right? So when you compile it, there are two things. One is the compiler, the other is the interpreter, right? To execute a program. Right. So in programming language like C, C++, or Java, we basically compile the program first. We use the compiler, right? Then it converts that to a machine level code. Then we execute that machine level code to get the required output, right? So compiler reads the program from top to bottom once and it compiles it, right? So whereas interpreter executes the program line by line. Right, so this is the entire program is executed at once, right? So in compiler we have a object level code which is generated when we execute the program, but in case of scripting languages we don't have any object level code. We directly execute that and we get the output. So in case of programming language C, C++ and Java, what we ship to the customer is the object level code, but in case of interpreter we directly ship the script itself, right? So customer can see, the client can see the script what we have written inside the script, right? So when we start, so this is called the first line of the shell script. What is this? This is actually the interpreter. So here we write the script, right? So we are instructing the machine to use this interpreter, this shell, bash shell, use the bash shell to compile my program, to execute my program, right? So this is called the first line or magic line or shebang line. What is it? Shebang line, or sometimes it's called magic line also, right? So it starts with hash, exclamation, and then the interpreter name, right? Yeah, generally when it starts with hash it is commented, but when it's followed by exclamation it is called the magic line, the shebang line, right? So basically the machine knows that it has to use the bash interpreter. So by default in Linux it is the bash interpreter which is used. In case of AIX, HPUX, KSH shell is the used. So it will be something like user bin KSH. Okay, so this interpreter location changes, right, based on the distribution. So some of the distributions use bin bash, right? Some of the distribution use user bin bash, right? So based on the interpreter, we need to add the first line in the shell script. So how do we find out whether it is bin bash or user bin bash? How do you find out what is the location of ls, from where ls is getting executed? If I just say ls on the command line, it gives the list, right? List of the files. So I want to see what is the location of ls actually. Any command, it's a binary, right? It's getting executed, so it will be somewhere in the machine. So what is the path of that binary? How do you find out that? PWD is present working directory. Yes, so it is like which ls will give bin ls, right? So in the same way, which bash will give bin bash. So in this machine, when I am writing a shell script, my first line has to be bin bash, right? Which is the command to tell you the location of the command or location of the binary, right? You can give any command. Okay, so this way we can see the location of the command, right? And file is a command to check what kind of file is it. It's a executable. Okay, if it is a text, it will say ASCII text. Okay, so let us create a directory and dir/test, and let go to the test, and now I'll create a sample shell script. So I'll say 1.sh. Okay, now I'll just insert the code. What is the first line? I said comment exclamation bin bash, because in this location the bash location is bin bash. Now anything starts with hash is a commenter. This will not be executed. This is a sample program to print hello world, right? So this will not be executed. So how do we print output to screen? Echo hello world. That's all. Save this. Okay, I have created a script which is 1.sh. In that, I just have one statement. What is that? Echo hello world. So this is like the first program which we have written in C or C++. Print hello world. System.out.println equal to hello world in Java. Right. So same thing we do with hello. Even echo works here also. Echo hi means it will print hi. Right. So shell scripting is nothing but all the commands put together in a file. Right. Now I want to execute this command. So how do I want to execute this script? How do I execute? So to execute a script, the command is /sample.sh to execute. Okay, so let us try to execute the script 1.sh. See, permission denied. So I do not have the permission to execute the script, right? So by default. So how do I change the permission?
Using chmod.
Okay, chmod u plus x 1.sh, right? If I want to give everybody permission, all the permissions,
chmod 777
1.sh. How do I find out the current user? How did I log in?
Who am I?
ID or who am I, right? Now I'll execute saying 1.sh. It says hello world, right? So we just executed the first script. So this is just a simple script which has something like 1.sh. It has an interpreter and it says hello world, right? Echo hello world. That this is something like a printf. Now let us say the requirement is something like this. What is it? I want to add two numbers. So how do we do this? So I need to take input from the user, right? And I want to print sum of the two numbers on the screen, right? So generally, how do we take input from the user? So it will ask echo, enter the first number. User enters something from the keyboard that I need to read it. What do we do in C language? Printf, enter the number, scanf, percentile D, and let us say we'll give A, B, or C. So that A value will capture the input entered from the keyboard, right? So here in shell script it is called read. So simply read A, right? So generally by convention we close the statement with a semicolon indicating that statement is completed. So I'll add it. So echo enter the first number, read A. So the value which user enters from the keyboard will be stored in a variable called A. What is a variable? Variable is the one which stores a value, right? So A is variable. The value, whatever the user enters is stored inside the variable A as a value, right? In the same way, echo, enter the second number, read B, right? So now user enters the second value that is stored inside a variable called B, right? So how do I add two numbers? So we just need to perform one arithmetic operation which is adding two numbers, right? So how do we add? Simply I say sum equal to A plus B. Will this work? So in shell scripting this will not work. So maybe in another scripting it will work. So what do we need to do is we need to use a command called expr. What is it? Expr. Expression. So for any arithmetic operations like plus, minus, divided by, multiplication, we need to use a command called expr, and it has a syntax. This has to be enclosed in a backticks. So this backtick is something which is under escape button in your keyboard. Okay, then we need to give the number. So in shell scripting it's like a placeholder is $. So $A, if you want to use a variable inside a shell script, if you want to print it also, we need to use dollar. Expression $A plus $B, and we close this. Okay. I'll just remove the space. Okay. So sum is equal to expression $A plus $B. Then I'll just say echo $sum. So what are we doing here? We are taking two numbers from the keyboard. Enter the first number, user enters something. Enter the second number, user enters the second number. So that value we are storing inside a variable called A and another variable called B. Now we just want to add the two numbers. Simply we cannot add it. We have to use a command called expression for performing any arithmetic operation. So same thing, we'll try to execute it on the machine and see how does it work, right? So let me add also the first line, which is my shebang line. Is this fine or any syntax issue? If you see, it is actually bin bash, not user bin bash. It will say file not found, it will throw error, right? It is actually bin bash. How do we see that? Which bash will give me the location of the bash. So it is bin bash, not user bin bash, right? So bin bash, now everything is fine, right? Okay, let us try that. So what is the next step? I need to give the permission 777 2.sh and simply execute 2.sh. enter the first number, let us say 10, enter the second number 20, sum is 30, right? Enter the first number 1, enter the second number 5, sum is 6, right? Enter the first number, sorry, I'll kill it, 50, 20, 70, right? Is it working as expected? So it's a simple program. We enter two numbers from the keyboard. We are reading them. We are storing that in a variable called A and B, and we are simply adding them using expression command. Expression has a syntax. While using expression, we need to use backticks, and exactly the syntax has to be followed. If you just miss a space in between sum and equal to, it will fail, saying that syntax error. And if you miss one space here also, it will again fail. So this has to be followed as it is exactly. Okay. Is this clear? Is this clear? How do we execute a shell script? How do we write a shell script? How do we take input from the user, right? And how do we add two numbers, right? In the same way, let us say, see, we have now taken inputs from the user. From the interactively, we have taken the variables, right? So now the requirement is something like, I don't want to give them interactively. I simply want to give them in the command line, right? Let us say sum.sh is a program, and if I enter now, it will ask enter the first number, enter the second number. Not like that. It's interactive way. I want non-interactive way, right? So I want to pass 1, 2 here, and it has to give me output as 3. Right? So these are command line arguments, right? So this is not non-interactive way of programming, right? So we just execute the script, we get the output, right? So whatever values required for the script, I'll pass on the command line itself. They are called command line arguments. Right? So how do we access these command line arguments inside the script? So inside the script, we need to add these two numbers, right? 1, 2. So there is a way. What is it? So we can access the command line arguments inside the script using this kind of variables. What is what? $1 will give, if I inside the script, if I say echo $1, it will give the first argument. In this case, it is 1. If I say $2, it will give the second argument. If I just say some expression $1 plus $2, that is equal to sum of 1 plus 2, right? Inside the script, we can access the command line arguments using dollar values. So $1 will give me the first value, $2 will give me the second value. Let's try that. The same script, I'll just change it. So I'll copy the script 2.sh to 3.sh, and I'll change this 3.sh. So there is no enter number, read number, enter number, read number. So I'll just say expression $1 plus $2, and I'll print the output. I'll just change the permission. Now we'll try to execute it, right? So 3.sh, I'll say 10, 100. What is output? 110. I'll say something like 100, 1000. What is output? 1100. So how is it happening? See, simply whatever we enter along with the script on the command line, the arguments are called command line arguments. So those arguments can be accessed inside the script using $1, $2. So $1 is the first argument, $2 is the second argument. Let us say, I'll simply say bin bash echo $1, echo $2, echo $3, right? So now I'll simply change the permission and execute 4.sh 1, what will be output? No, I'm not doing sum here, right? I'm just printing the numbers. echo $1 will give me the first argument, echo $2 will give me the second number, echo $3 will give me the third number, right? Now I'll say 785. So whatever the numbers you give, that can be accessed inside the script using command line arguments. So these command line arguments can be accessed inside the script, right? So $1 $n will print the nth argument. This I can use inside the script. I can sum them or I can use inside any operation, right? So in the same way, $star will give all the arguments. $hash will give number of arguments. Okay, $dollar will give PID of the script. We'll see what is it. $@ will also give all the arguments, right? And $0 will give the file name. Okay, and what else we have? Okay, let's try this. So I'll open 4.sh and $1, $2, $3. Then I'll say echo $star echo. Okay, first we'll see this. See, I did not give any arguments. It has printed nothing. It is printed. It just did not print anything because I did not give any command line arguments. So I'll give 3, 6, 8. Right? Echo $1 will print 3. Echo $2 will print 6. Echo $3 will print 8. And echo $star will print all the arguments on the command. Right? In the same way, we will print echo $hash. What this will print? So what will be my output? $1 will print 3, $2 will print 6, $3 will print 8, $star will print 368, $hash will print 3 number of command line arguments. 4 number of command line arguments, right? Only $, okay. I'll remove everything. This way. Or let us say I want to see why this is useful. Where exactly we use this $hash, $star and $. So just for example, let us say you want user to, you're writing a script and we want user to enter, let us say 3 arguments. And user entered only 2 arguments. So the script may fail, right? There might not be an expected behavior, right? So you want to do something with the 3 arguments and user entered 2 arguments only. Now we want to throw error. We want to have a check saying that you have to enter 3 arguments. Please enter 3 arguments, otherwise exit, right? So you need to write a script in such a way that whenever user enters improper number of arguments, incorrect number of arguments, you just exit saying that please enter 3 number of arguments. This script needs 3 arguments to execute. With 2 arguments it cannot execute. Something like that, you want to have a check. So in that case I can simply validate using $hash. So basically $hash will give me the number of arguments, right? So let us say it will give number 2. I can write a simple if loop saying that if $hash is equal to 3, then only go for the execution, otherwise exit, saying that usage error, you have to enter 3 arguments. This kind of scripts you would have seen sometimes when you're executing, when you're writing some script or when you're executing some command, it needs more number of arguments. So it will simply fail saying that check the help page or usage error, you need to enter this number of arguments. So that thing we can do using this $hash, right? So using $hash, we can have a check. That we'll see tomorrow, how to have a check to ask the user to enter proper number of arguments, right? So $, so any program which is getting executed is actually a process, right? So I want to get the PID of this process which is under execution. We are executing a script, right? So that script is nothing but a process which is getting executed. So if I want to find out what is the process ID, so the command is echo $. This will give the process ID. So if I say 4.sh, 2055 is the process ID of this thing. It will change, and it is unique, which is assigned by the kernel. This is called process identification number. Every process will be associated with a process ID, right? Now let us say I want to print the file name. This will give the file name, which is 4.sh, right? So these are called the command line arguments, which we use regularly when we are writing the simple scripts. Okay. Any questions from today's class? We'll see some more scripts like if loop, while loop, for loop, and then we see functions. Then we have regular expressions. So we have a CD and all. Okay. Thank you.